We can call that. Here we go. Team, how are we going? Sound check for all you patient scallywags that are up for take two of What Do You Want? Now, that's a Pandora's box to ask anyone, that question. But here we are. We had technical issues with the first attempt. I will delete that ASAP as soon as this is over. But let me know, is the sound better? Is it A-okay? G'day. Happy?
Yeah, Lucas says sounds good.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going to take the sound headphones off because I can't even hear myself.
Yeah, you don't need them.
I don't.
No, you don't. You can't see your resplendent hair with the headphones on. Loud and clear over, Dave says.
Excellent, sir.
And we've got the lady driver in the background.
And this screen will always be known as the Lady Driver. For those that are here for the first time, you'll see it in a moment. As some chaotic driving will happen on this ambience, which is supplied by Battlefield 5. And if I knew how to record this kind of gameplay from a static location for the length of a game, I would make 20 of these videos, because to me they are insanely entertaining to watch the randomness, the movements, the what's happening next. That guy just copped it. He's having a bad day. He just got pixelated. But welcome, team. It's Friday. It's the last day of April. We threw out some commiserations to our Navy bros and broettes, you know, in relation. There she is.
Yep.
That's some Boxing Day driving right there.
Lady driver.
Lady driver. Kane Higgins is from up north. He's north side, west side. Not sure we'll pause you. Here's Jay Hayes. And we've got in there is your Cowboys jersey I forgot to put on because I ran out of time. We've got Dave D, who's not standing fast for anyone because he's partially the boss now. We've got Aussie Wanker Warrior. Sorry, Wanker. That's not an insult. We all do it. You know, pretend we're allergic to it, try to get it off our body. I get it.
Great.
Oh, well, the Olympic relay. That's how it started. The lurker is sitting on top of the mullet man. What are you doing there, bro? Nookie Soms, as I would say in New Zealand, okay, is just below Spider Stephen Webb. Carl P, he's on the roof.
Yeah, I saw him. Boyd is here. It's always nice when Boyd's here. Zeke O is here. Hi, Zeke.
2 seconds, Mr. Buckaroony from way up north. The man who's about to hit 20,000 subscribers. Fantastic.
Oh, that's great.
You actually really touched me the other day, and I would have definitely won that auction for that game ball, that football that ended up with a brouhaha with the prison guards against the cops, or whatever it was up north. Mate, I would have paid more than $300 for that ball, I tell you now. And well done to the young man that won it. And his name was, we called him out the other day, that would have been Brent Wall. And how was that wanker that tried to put in a fake bid and then said it was a typo? Mr. Buckaroony, you kept your temper there, mate. I was really pissed off with that dude. You know, he almost... what do you call it? Fundraising charity event. You know, you done well to hold on to your bloody temper there, mate.
Indeed.
Madison County is here.
Yeah, she is. She's going to send me a message. Yeah, send me a message. Send me an Instagram message. I promise I'll check it later. I'm sorry I'm so slack at looking them. I would love to see your tattoos. More of them. She's addicted.
Ah, there we go. Each one should have a story. There we go. We've got a tank down there for the armoured guys. I love the chaos in the background, team. Zeke, not Zeke. Not Zeke-O. Hey, Lauren, what about me?
Yeah, well, hey.
Sims, man, how you going, mate? Bloody good to see you. Well, I can't see you, Sims. I wish I could. I wish that we've got 36 people currently viewing at the moment, 39 viewers on. I wish every single one of you was on a Zoom call at the moment, and we're about to make an announcement in another 5 minutes of what's happening this Monday coming up, which is going to be fantastic for those time rich injured, you know, or those that like a good rerun. Yep. And Lauren's going to make that announcement.
Yeah, I think we've just got deep voice. If it's just deep voice, we'll carry on. Have done before, but if it's Gremlins, let us know.
Yeah,
We can push through the deep voice problem.
we can. What's happened is I've hit 50 years old. My balls have finally dropped, and now I've got the voice of a 20-year-old. Ironside, that's right, Dave D. We've got Nashi there. The audio is going weird. I've just become manly. You know, got a sex change to a man the other day. There's only two genders. Brady Cars, yeah, I thought I'd promote myself. Gave myself a spanner.
Just waiting for his
Fire.
white voice, Dave says. We can do that. We've done that before. If I sound like a dude, my name is Lorenzo. It's okay.
The Dogs are going to lose, you know, to the Tigers. And I think it was disgusting the way the other day Trent Barrett started crying because they won a game. Ex-Dragon player, you feel like going, dude, if the coach is crying because he's so surprised that you've won a game, I'd sack him.
I don't know much about it.
Fire Russian, great to have you here, and what a fantastic name. Did you know that the biggest concert in the history of the world actually happened as USSR was turning into Russia, and it was Metallica, and 1.6 million people turned up to that concert? Amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. People should definitely check it out if they haven't yet.
SP, share price, says nice voice. The Dogs are winning. What's miraculous? Dogs are always winning. They're loyal, they're beautiful. Yeah, they don't bruise when you hit them. They're great. They taste like chicken on an off-pay week.
Hey,
Well, in Rarotonga, they're one of the favourite foods.
all right, come on now. You know, if people watching this on the rerun, if you up the speed, it will sound almost normal. So just remember that.
And Lauren is not saying take speed to make it sound normal.
No, I'm not. Just up the playback speed.
Yeah. Look, guys, I don't know what's going on. Like, when I'm preparing all this, it seems hunky-dory, it seems fine. Then all of a sudden, it chucks a tantrum, you know, and gives you a less quality than what you deserve. Maybe you need to get a computer, pour some Red Bull inside it, give it some wings.
I don't know. It'll come good. We'll figure it out.
As someone asked before a question, I can't remember, it was further up. They said, Kaz, did this guy crawling down there, getting low on your guts, that's a way. He's going to get whacked. How long is he going to last? He's going to get hit the minute you can see it. Someone asked in the comments just before, while on operations, was there anything that really scared me? Look, it's a funny thing. You know, there's a big difference between asymmetric warfare and conventional warfare. Conventional warfare being two trained military, normally peer levels of command communications, you know, and control of each other with training, officer class, you know, NCO class, enlisted soldiers, etc., where there is fear all the time. You know, what angle are they coming from? It's been too quiet for too long. In asymmetric warfare, that means that you can be on an operational trip, whether it be for United Nations, whether it be for NATO, okay? It could be a Timor, it could be in Afghanistan, okay? It could be, it's not a declared war team, okay? It's one of those things where you don't know if you're going to have an entire 6 months or 7 months with absolutely nothing going wrong, or whether you're going to be in pitched shit that goes on continually. And asymmetric normally means you've got a militia-based, rebel-based, clan-based, warband-based foe threat that doesn't wear a designated uniform and normally uses cruelty behind your back to... Yeah, but they want to discredit your mission by saying, see, they couldn't protect you. Okay, so did I feel... There was no real time I felt nervous. You knew the danger was there. It was clear and present. You could see in their faces. But the bad guys in asymmetric warfare don't tend to target soldiers, which they know are infantry, armoured, etc. Okay, what they do is they wait for a moment they can strike, and then they take advantage of the weak link. The weak link would normally be a convoy, would normally be a isolated group. Could be civilians, someone that works with you, etc. There was times where I knew, especially in Rwanda, that if they thought they could get away with it, then we would have been found in more pieces, okay, than a hobby store puzzle. But we weren't the actual target as such. As a matter of fact, the best people to send to a country of colour is actual white soldiers, because it's such a novelty, they don't know how to take you. And then when you turn up and you're nice to their children, you've got a smile on your face, they're like, we hate these guys. I don't think so. They've never done anything wrong to us before. So then what happens is they tend to actually use you as a mercantile, a way of making money. You know, so that, you know, you normally get left alone. But the danger is always present, and you won't see it coming when it does. Because it'll always be a ambush, a surprise attack on an unsuspecting force, you know, by a threat, you know, who is lying in wait, an opportunity, so to speak. Seen some really, really horrible things happen to other people, but Australians are pretty much the best trained soldiers in the world. One, because we're a small army. Two, because we have excellent instructors, right? And three, we really have that mateship that glues us together and makes us stick together, you know, at times where other armies tend to have fracture points, whether that be cultural, whether that be past grievances, biases, etc. So, don't know. I can't think of any particular ones where I shit myself, you know, but I was definitely in the shit a few times. Abs 1988. Do you actually have abs? Ty's wife is here. What does he think about that?
Yeah, Grace here. She's giving us an update on Tyson. He's doing great. 4 weeks and counting till he's finished at Puka. He has admin day tomorrow, so they're all hanging out for a day of chatting. That's great. And I believe young Madison is about to start her, is it IET?
Initial employment training, yes.
Yes. So that's very, very exciting.
That's when you're more than half trained. That means you're fully qualified, all service Australian soldier. We're in the Slouch Hat, have no excuses for bad behaviour, ethos, conduct, etc. So now it's all about plying your trade. There she goes. She just drove past. See her down the bottom, out of the screen.
Yep. Yep, there she is. Abs apparently does have abs. 1988. That's a year I left school.
I joined Army Reserve in 1988, and
I don't even care about getting old anymore.
now she's asked a really good question. In a moment, we're going to get onto Lauren's announcement. Okay,
Yep.
as we just watch as that tank pulls up over there. I don't think it's going to last long. How do I feel about the troops pulling out of Afghanistan? You'd have to ask, how did I feel about troops going into Afghanistan? And it really comes down to, you know, as sad as it sounds, we get deployed by our government to not just do the right thing, but to also make sure our soldiers are ready for the big game when it happens. So they tend to want to have us over there testing our tools, our metal, keeping us in the saddle, so to speak. Is it dangerous? Yeah. Motocross rider, if he doesn't ride, okay, someone prepares for a UFC fight that doesn't do any striking, okay, you're going to be gun shy when the shots ring out, okay? I don't think you can actually make a difference in an area that is tribal like that. It's about warlords. We can't rewrite their fault lines where their tribes and territorial lands start and finish. You know, we went up against the guys that were winning and still winning. They fought in a different rule book. Pulling out, I think, is the right thing to do. I do, because we can't keep having flags across coffins in something that you cannot actually win. You can't win. You know, you can only win if you fight in the same way. And you know what? Australians don't want to fight the same way. We're not cruel people. the only way you can win is to be cruel, is to be worse than... Jesus, what happened then? Is to be worse than those you're up against. And you know what? I'm not prepared to do that. You know, I'm not prepared to go over and do something cruel, you know, to scare the shit out of them from coming out of the darkness, so to speak. You know, so I don't think we can, you know, you can make a micro difference, you know, but when people know that at the end of the day you're not there forever, you know, they can't afford to help you in a lot of ways. And the vacuum that is created when coalition forces pull out of there, all you can think is, to those that were loyal to coalition forces and to their own country, trying to bring back the better version of what it was, that I hope that they have been given some sort of visa protection, extradition out of Afghanistan over to and shared throughout UK, okay, New Zealand, Australia, USA, Denmark, and all the other countries involved. The horrible thing about that is some of the baddies might sneak in as well. So how do you vet that?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. Jodie's here. Jodie Stevens.
Jodie, whose lovely son, James Meredith Harp, okay, went to Afghanistan. Okay, we absolutely made a difference for people in Afghanistan. You'd never say ever that we wasted our time there, because you'll never see the people that are so glad you were there. But everything has to come to an end, you know. And to James, who lost his battle, okay, with the demons after returning from Afghanistan, okay, we always salute him, and we carry his name on this channel, you know, as the brother of Ian Turner, who around the same day, Special Forces Australia 2nd Commando Regiment, lost his life as well.
Yeah, indeed. She says thanks for this channel. Thank you.
We love you, Jodie.
Yeah, we do. We really do. And we love it that you take the time to pop in and say good day and leave great comments. We think that's awesome.
And Jodie's only part of the team. She comes with Maddie, the real Santa. Jodie, what do you think about somewhere in the next couple of weeks, you know, sitting in on a Zoom call?
Oh yeah.
Well, Lauren, myself, Ed, and yourself. Would you be up for that? So we can talk face to face?
That would be fantastic.
Yeah. It'd be great.
Yeah. Austin said something interesting. He said he feels sorry for those with autism that can't join the army due to their disability. Well, I've got an opinion on that, and he's saying, so only those without disabilities join the military. Yes.
You wouldn't want it any other way, mate.
It's not even about the capabilities of the army, which it would affect. It's about the person. It's for their welfare as well. It's not a normal job. It's not a normal career. You have to be able, and that means able-bodied, able in mind. Otherwise, you could end up damaging that person. They have a duty of care to everybody who even applies for the military. So the chances are it could really, really damage that person. Everyone's on the spectrum somewhere, and you can travel up and down that spectrum. So someone who's mildly on that spectrum, if they're put under an awful lot of pressure, which they might be in the military, they could end up becoming non-verbal and going all the way down the other end of the spectrum. So no, that's right. It's not about discrimination. It's about duty of care.
That's it. And you know, we just had someone become a member. It just come up on the screen, but I can't see where the alert. It's not in the actual chat.
I saw the little zombie, but I can't see it in the chat either. Maybe it was from before.
Don't know.
Sometimes it's delayed.
To whoever you are, member, thumbs up to you, hand of colour, and let's quickly go back to the subject. You've got to understand that part of being a military member is also being able to identify emotive expression of not just other military members, coalition members, civilians, etc. Now, I know a guy that used to work for me, and he got in and I believe he had Asperger's. And I'm not going to mention his name, but I'm going to swear this guy was a fuck up to work with. You know, he didn't understand the tone of his voice, and we live in a command structure where insubordination is a crime. So when this guy would snap at people, you're like, do you want to go to jail? You know, you have to wait, and he didn't realise what he was saying, and he ended up in a goddamn Fruit Loop. Some of the things he did were some of the weirdest stuff I've ever seen, but because everyone comes in and goes through the assessment stage where they go through the full medical screening, psychological screening, all of that is meant to happen there. So you assume that every single person that works beside you, in front of you, and most importantly behind you, okay, is all being screened, is all there, is the best version of them, and they're at least med class 1 or 2 to even be on operations or in command and control of a weapon system behind you that has a safety catch and live rounds that don't discriminate on colour, creed, religion. You know, all of us are allergic to 5.56, to 7.62, to 50 cal, to 9 mil.
Yeah.
Accidents happen when great people have weapon systems, skills.
Yeah.
You know, we can't afford to tarnish or lower.
And this isn't about hating on disability, people with disabilities. I have a disability. I'm even a disability advocate. And I'm telling you, it is not in their best interest, nor is it in the ADF's best interest.
I was discharged from the military all because, of PTSD.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Yeah. So I understood.
It's not discrimination, it's discernment.
Yep. Kenny Mills, how you going, mate? Okay, do you have any experience with Darwin? I do. Aaron is waiting to put it down for his first preference. I don't know why, but okay. What I'd say about Darwin is it's beautiful for about, an hour a year. It is so hot. You walk out and you're having a bath in your own filth. It is divorce weather. If you have a combative relationship and you're in an area like Darwin, it'll bring out the worst in you. The stickiness can get inside. You feel like you live inside an armpit. I was in Townsville almost all my career. And when I turn up to Darwin, I'm like, holy shit, how hot, this sucks. But, okay, in winter, it can be beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know. I've never been there, but I've heard, it's a great party town.
Doesn't take long to see you around. You can't go for a swim. You've got to be careful how close you walk your dog to the water. If you like four-wheel driving, time with family, a more laid-back life, it's excellent.
Yep, exactly. That's how it goes.
Okay. Well, I can't read what Jody's saying there. I was turned down from Army for...
Scoliosis, I think.
Okay.
Yep, curvature of the spine.
I wish I had a spine.
Come on now.
What's Nikki saying there?
Nicole King is saying, I'm proud of my service and always wanted to join, but I shouldn't have passed the medical as I have an extra vertebrae in my lumbar spine that caused me to break three vertebrae in my thoracic. Well, so that's a perfect example, isn't it? If they picked up on that, you probably wouldn't have that injury.
Yep.
Sorry that sounds very painful.
It does, and invisible injuries. Okay, Jody knows all about invisible injuries. Just like we all know about invisible qualifications. No one would imagine that Lauren is a fantastic tattooist. Yep. No one would know that I've got one of the best singing voices in Australia.
No, you're the songbird of your generation.
Correct. And I can drive better than that dude in the tank in the background.
Yeah.
Who looks like someone on the way to work after a big night at Tats. Nucky Sums, Darwin is hot. Yep. And Kim reckons that Aaron will love it, but she'll probably hate it.
You'll make the most of it, Kim. Come on, you can make home wherever you are. That's what us ladies can do.
Well, I say wherever you lay your hat is home. That's why I always carry 3 hats and follow beautiful women and try to throw my hat through their windows.
Yeah. I got it, Madison. I'll check the messages after I get off of here.
Okay, Vi, Sorry, mate, my eyes are glued on.
Bible tap.
Okay.
He wants you to go into more detail on your discharge for PTSD. How does it affect you on your everyday life case?
PTSD, hey, Greg Palmer too, by the way. Laverick Barracks like me. Dude, Laverick Barracks, it is the best place for total immersion into the military. It is great for women that work there too, for wives to go there and then get normally the jobs of the other wives as they leave there to go to RMC postings, School of Infantry, Puckapunyal, all that sort of stuff. It's the best place, I reckon, for family. PTSD, how did it affect me? Basically, what happened is really lack of concentration, real emotional balls of anger, frustration, an outpouring of that anger, total fatigue. You know, it was really tough. It's not like flashbacks. I didn't have flashbacks. You know, what I believe I've got is real moral injuries that were created by politics and politicians wanting Australians to go to a country, you know, but to monitor, but not provide a solution for something that no one would tolerate in Australia. But to be forced to be the best trained soldiers on the ground and to watch as not military actions occurred, but military crimes against civilians, and then to be told that they are not on the to-do list, to-help list. And now we're not talking about man on men, we're talking about men on children, men on women. So these things, you can't unsee them, you can't unsmell it, you can't unhear it.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things when you're in Australia and all of a sudden you have your own child, then what happens is basically it comes in around you, and you're the only one that can feel it. You can't even explain it to someone because they don't smell it, hear it, sense it. You know, and that's the same with every single person that has that snapping point. And I actually snapped.
Yeah.
You know, it was...
Sometimes it takes people to snap before they actually go, whoa, there's something wrong with me.
Look, if I'd have had that snap and I had been in the army less time, and I was less of a character, less of a personality around, then it could have quite easily have been, you know, this dude, no second chances, you know, you're done, you're out. But a fantastic major by the name of Green, I won't say his first name, rang up from the School of Infantry, said, Kaz, I hear you're having a real hard time up there. I hear that basically the straw that broke the camel's back has also broken yours. What if I was to say to you, the chance for the phoenix to rise from the ashes, the butterfly to be created from the slug, you know, caterpillar, could you give me a year if I asked you to come down here and be part of my team in tactics and leadership division? And I said, if you can get me out of here with my family back to the School of Infantry, I'll give you the best year of my life in the military. And I went back and I gave him just that. Yep. And then when he... yeah.
Oh, sorry. Are you still going?
No, good.
Okay, Slender Boy Caveman, great name.
Yeah.
Asked, I have recently received a class 4 from medical due to some scarring from my eye 5 years ago. I've seen an expert who has said they'd recommend me. Do you know how often the appeals are successful? It can be done, can't it? There's quite a few people who've appealed that.
It depends. It depends what it is. If it's to do with eyesight, normally not. You know, if it's to do with hearing degeneration, if it's got the stage where they're thinking, dude, this guy is close to industrial deafness at the level that he may be unemployable in different areas and be looking at being a multi-million-dollar bloody payout, they might say no. You know, what they don't want to do is pick up the tab for someone while the line to enter the army is going basically around the block, so to speak. It depends if it's... Here she comes too, driving down here.
Lady driver.
Lady driver.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds cruel. I'm going to explain this to you, and you may not like it. When it affects you, you're not going to think it's fair. You know you better than anyone, okay, and it sucks. But if you put yourself on the other side of the table, would you give yourself a chance Okay, when you've got someone else that's more able-bodied, that doesn't have the problem, that's fighting for exactly the same position, well, your job is not about emotion. Your job is about best person for the job. It all comes down to that. And that's what I had to say to myself before facing medical discharge. And I thought, you know what? I'd be giving me exactly the same option as what they gave me. I don't expect me to lick it up and lap it up after 24 years. Of course, there's going to be a rebellion against the decision. What about me? But I had to suck it up. The advantage was that I'd done an entire career.
Yep.
You know, but that could have quite easily been 4 years, and that would have sucked.
It's an interesting one. I think you'll appreciate it.
I'll put my eyebrow up for it.
Okay, Betty.
Yes,
Okay.
Listo.
Joe Natchar. I said, hello, Kaz. I'm an air-to-ground integrator
Okay.
in the Lebanese army.
Excellent.
But I did all my education training in the US. What are my chances to be accepted in the overseas lateral transfer program?
We don't have a lateral transfer program with the US. We only have it, I believe, with the UK. Okay? The lateral transfer is also normally not for private soldiers. It's normally aimed at warrant officers, sergeants, those with a known skill set that is also almost mirror image of Australian training. Okay, the Commonwealth forces, etc. So, unless you're in Australia as a resident, or send your papers in and said, hey, dude, you know, this is who I am. You know, I'd like to join the military in Australia. What do I need to do? Can you give me a roadmap? Okay, then they will give you that roadmap. Yeah, and then it comes down to you. Is it too hard or is it not? Okay, but it can be a really, what would you call it, strained journey, which in some ways could be simpler. Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah, and I'm sorry for that, mate, and thank you for what you do. You know, by all accounts, the Lebanese have got beautiful people,
Yeah.
beautiful women.
Food. Best food ever.
Oh, yeah.
I love Lebanese food.
Yep.
And you are very welcome here. It's lovely to have you here.
Yep. I'll take a glass with you. I'm not sure if you're Lebanese Christian or Lebanese Islamic. You know, if you're Islamic, then I'll make it tea or coffee. If you're not, then I'll do it with a mid-strength beer and I'll get a hangover from one.
Yeah. Come on, you're not that bad.
Oh, I'm pretty bloody close. Mr. Buckaroonie, you don't salute warrant officers? No, just commissioned officers. Yep.
Yeah, indeed.
Yep. You salute the commission, not the person. You wouldn't expect that, Dave, coming from their mouth, but they seem to think it's for them. Yeah. You know, if you don't like an officer, you always call them sir. If you do like them, you call them boss. That's a way to let them know.
Yep. Yep, sure. Okay, what has we got here? Okay, I've got
Special cut.
Yeah, I've got a fairly visible scar from recent broken tib and fib.
Yep.
Plate and screws. Will DFR always ask to see reports, etc., of this degree injury?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you
Yep.
shouldn't lie about it. You shouldn't cover it up.
And you've got to remember, when you're the civilian, you've got no idea what you're in for. You've got no idea what the army's like until you get in there. You know, and a lot of them do know. You know, and they see trends of certain things that occur within military service. And if you're actually in one of those areas, they're going to go, oh, it's only a matter of time before this guy's back in front of us, going under the knife at an early age and mabling himself, despite the fact that his own ambition, you know, is his worst enemy. So, mate, I'd say to you, don't worry about it. Treat it like it's no drama whatsoever, you know, but have transparency for it. Okay, go to the assessment. The medical will ask about it. They'll have a look at it. They'll see your range of movement. They may even test your strength. And then from there, they may say, no dramas, mate. No dramas. And stick you to the fridge like a magnet. Or they might say, go and get a report just from a specialist. But it has to be medical. It can't be just a referral. or a reference from someone who thinks they're special.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't don't try and lie about it or get away with not mentioning it. Just be honest about it, and it might not even be that big a deal.
Yep, it's true. Lauren,
Yes,
announcement time.
it is. Hi, JP.
JP. Hey, JP.
If someone a guy called Ben had some sniper questions in the chat. So Ben, ask your questions. JP's here. Good night, Mr. Patterson. I was just about to tell you what my exciting news is, though.
Yep, Mr. P probably there for it too. He's a pretty patriotic guy to the streams for Aussie streamers.
Yeah, well, because he can also keep my time for me. I am going to start streaming on my channel.
She said streaming, not screaming.
No, I may do both, though, after today. Cass has been very patient in helping me and teaching me and even, providing the hardware that I need to do this. So Cass is the most generous person in the entire world, I'm sure. So
It's a lady listeners.
Yeah, it's true. He's very generous. He'd be a great catch. Look at that head of hair. And so as of Monday, I will be having a regular daily, it won't be a very long stream, but I will be having a daily stream on my channel, and we're going to talk about all sorts of stuff. I'm going to have a lot of really great guests on, everyone from officers and engineers to all sorts of people who aren't even military related. We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff. We'll have new artists on and all sorts of things, or it'll just be me. So if you're time rich like I am, you've got not much to do at about 9 a.m, pop on over to my channel and you can come and join me for my stream. I would love to see you there. And big thank you to Kaz for teaching me everything. There will be no nudity there, Mr. Patterson.
No nudity. And that looks like Westfield car park happening in the background too. You're going to see all of that on Lauren is Shining, and that is still the channel.
Yep.
Lauren is Shining.
Yes, yep, that's just the one I'm on right now.
So let's see if we can see a boost. If you're watching this right now, globally or domestic, Lauren is Shining.
Yep.
Okay, get on there, subscribe, make it when you can, check it out.
Yep.
And let's do what we can to get behind other Aussie streamers, content creators. And always remember, if you're a creator, Instagram, something, and you have something special to offer, you have an absolute green light to put your link, your message, and come support me, man, in comments right here. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the comments after the stream down below. I'm here to look after you.
Yeah, we really want to support you like you support us. And I believe, even Kaz, you were going to join me sometimes, which would be super ace.
I'll join you on the launch if you need it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fantastic.
In the absence of having someone else sit there quickly, that way if any mistakes happen, you can go, oh, okay, it's okay.
Yeah, I won't freak out.
Freak out.
All day to figure this thing out, but Kaz, you've been there since the get-go, and I'm actually really excited about it.
Yeah, I am too, because, when you drop a pebble into a puddle, sometimes it creates something. And time-rich people, you need to stay on the ball. Otherwise, you'll turn into a worse version of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And, we are time-rich, early retired, and we've got to do something with our time.
We do, and this is what we do.
Yep.
Right. So, Lauren is Shining. Can you put the link there for a second there in the comments if you can, Lauren?
Yeah, I will. You just talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. Congrats. And you know what? The good thing is, Jay, it's going to be a time that is friendly to our US viewers, which is fantastic because you've got a few more people in Australia. Lauren had the choice of doing it so it was China friendly or US friendly. She went with US. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did. Actually, I'm hoping young Ed will join me one day. We could talk ham radio or something.
Ham radio?
Yeah.
Is that talking pig? Oh, you said hand radio.
Ham radio.
There you go.
That's what it's called, isn't it?
Hand radio, yeah. Slender Boy Graveman, in the class 4 letter that mentioned I could be accepted into a non-combat corps, okay? Due to my existing history, would it be possible to switch corps? No. Later down, if my condition hasn't reoccurred. Normally not, mate. Normally not. They'll have that on your file, okay? And there'd be a reason why they're not giving you that role, mate, okay? You don't have to be in an infantry uniform, you know, or an infantry or a cavalry, you know, corps to be assisting them. You need to be Med Class 1, okay, at worst Med Class 2, right, to be on the ground, because at any given time you may have to mirror the movements of those individuals, but you normally won't be part of the gunfight, so to speak. We don't want you to get in our way. You're unsure of how it will go with some degree of nerve damage. Every single person is a different critter. When you get to the assessment phase, you know, they will determine from there, you as an individual, you know, they don't always get it right. But sometimes we're hearing that a lot of the people that go in there don't represent themselves well, or say something stupid, you know, that actually burns their own bridges. So just make sure you understand your own dilemma, your own disability, seen or unseen injury, you know, your record, your effect on mission, you know, for you. Because this is only at most normally going to be at most 25 to 30 years of your life, and you could end up with another 70 years after that suffering, you know, because, you know, you didn't tell the truth from the start. So be careful, you know. Can we get a thumbs up from anyone that has just gone and actually subscribed to Lauren's channel? So hopefully she sees a spike.
Thanks. In fact, Nicole King, I reckon you'd be a really interesting person to talk to.
I'd love to be on a Zoom session where she's on there as well. Let's try and get as many girls and guys on the same one. There's Westside.
My limit is 49. That's way too many.
49. That's a lot.
That would be chaos.
That's Platoon Plus. Wait 2 seconds. Wait 2 seconds. Jay Hayes has just reminded me, my little scamper, my sidekick, my little baby, who's going to go and who had pajama day today.
Gorgeous girl.
Yeah, she is. She's better looking than her dad. Yeah. I'm like ginger beer. Once you get used to it, you're going to love the taste.
Hi.
Hello, darling. How you doing?
I'm just playing my toys.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Which ones?
How do you know?
You just told me.
No, not yet. I was talking to Mum.
Okay. You're looking forward to netball tomorrow morning? First game. Good. Yeah, I can't wait to see you again, and my guts is sore from where you punched me just before. Good shot. Right in the solar plexus. Yeah? You go and play with your toys before you go to sleep, okay, sweetie?
Okay.
I'll see you in the morning.
See you in the morning.
Bye-bye, darling. Love you. Thank you for today. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, darling. Bye.
Good night.
Shit. Sorry. I hung up on her. She gets offended when I hang up on her.
I'm offended that you just hung up on her. I can't believe you did that.
2 seconds.
Hi.
Hey, I didn't mean to hang up on you then.
I did accidentally.
Oh, okay, so it was your fault. All right. You're going to eat some broccoli tomorrow as a lesson.
Yeah, I need to go to play my toys.
Okay, say hello to the toys.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye, darling.
Bye.
Bye-bye, lovely.
Thanks.
No
Bye.
worries.
Bye.
All clear.
Gosh, she's beautiful.
She's a good kid. She had pajama day today, and just for no reason, she just come and punched me in the solar plexus today,
Good.
and taught her dad a lesson. Carl Murray. Look at all our moderators now. Almost everyone. Yeah,
Yeah, we got heaps. Why not?
it's great. I'll give the thumbs up. I'm not sure how to do that. Jody, it's okay, my dear. It's okay. Sergeant Jody Stevens. I love it. You know,
I like that too.
yeah, she sounds like our daughter on the phone. And funny enough, she actually hates phones, Nicole. It's a weird thing. Hates them. Wants one, but hates them. Hey, Kaz, is leadership before joining the Defence Force helpful? And will that be better when applying? They're not gonna, look, Matthew, they're not going to know that you have that leadership unless you go for your OSB, Officer Selection Board, etc. It's really hard to aim for young people in our officer class, and we're failing with our officers in a lot of ways and getting people with no leadership whatsoever that are managers or based on intellect. The best way to know someone has leadership capability is they almost all come from the enlisted ranks. And that's because you actually see what leadership is, that people will follow someone, okay, sometimes badly, peer pressure, etc. They will follow someone voluntarily despite the fact that there is no rank on an arm, chest, whatever, because this person has charisma. Now, charisma is missing from a lot of our officers, but at the same time, they want you to potentially have the ability to have a 40-year career, so they have to aim young to give you the chance to do that. Leadership is excellent in anything. As a subordinate, it can be painful because some people that, especially the officer class and NCO class, that have someone with more leadership, there's nothing worse than having someone look at you that has a rank, then look at someone else, go, we listen to him. You know, so sometimes it can go against you out of professional jealousy, but it's always good to have, and it's good for your love life too.
Yeah, got a seasick cow there.
We do have a seasick cow. It's.
Kim Jong-un.
I'm going to say this with my New Zealand accent. That's Slum Jong Un. Slum Jong Un.
Oh, and there's Madison. Hang on, Madison, we'll get to you.
Followed by Madison in a New Zealand accent. Madison. Boys and gals, just so you know, for those that haven't been here before, when you make a donation, and for those that are considering being a YouTuber and making it a financial part of your hustle, just remember, in Australia, unlike USA, you get paid less for your content unless it's about financial videos and content. So that is why it is so special with Slum Jom, okay, and from Madison.
Yep, okay,
That-
I'm going to look at the questions now.
That $5 actually represents 5,000 views.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, please. So
Fantastic.
the donation is too small. It's a lot. Hello, Kaz. Finally got a gig as an AMBO in Vic. You've really helped me push myself. Now in 12 months, I can apply to be a combat paramedic in the army.
Mate, what I would say to you is still keep yourself open to being a paramedic, okay, in the civilian sector. And I'm going to explain something quickly before we get on to Madison. You will save a lot more lives being in a paramedic in civilian roles than what you will in between hit-outs, games, the big game adventure of being in the army. What I recommend to you, stay a civilian paramedic, join the Army Reserve, so you've got the best of both worlds, so one distracts you from the other. Completely two different friendships, circles of influence and training, and invisible skill sets. And what this will allow you to do is the rigors of being paramedic and being an angel on the streets, magic hands, Nutsu cow, and bless your soul,
Yeah, indeed.
that you need a distraction from that. And Army Reserve is a fantastic tax-free distraction from being a paramedic.
It's true. It's such important work.
Yeah, it's
It really is.
it's noble, you know, because there's a price to pay.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Stay safe.
Yeah, please do. And young Madison says, good to say hello to the team. It's been a while. We always like to see you, Madison. Start
Aviation.
All right, IETs soon. So happy. Nice waking up to the sound of helis. They're the sounds of freedom, Madison.
They are. Look, they are. And you know what a lot of people don't realise, and I see a triple calamari down there by Culpee,
Yep.
is Madison, wherever she works, whether that be Embley, whether that be Townsville, where it's on barracks, because she'll be with Army Aviation, not Air Force, but sometimes we work it out at Air Force bases. Everywhere she goes, she's going to be getting excellent supplement rations of things like chocolate, milk, and great foods that don't go to those that fix the bayonet. She's going to have double glazed windows at the bases she goes, with air conditioning that could make a gay man's nipples get him in trouble. You're going to have the best of assets, because you're a very expensive commodity. You know, when you work with aviation, you need people to have their sleep. You need them to be tip-top. You need them to be great at what they do, because any mistakes can compound very quickly. So to you, excellent IETs. Do not get caught up in hitting the piss. Do not get caught up in peer pressure. Go there, get the job done, get the posting, and everyone looks sexy with an aviation helmet on.
Indeed. Look at Nicole going again. She said, don't get mad. This is for all the work you do for veterans, serving and incoming members of our ADF. The menstrual cow.
It is a menstrual cow, that time of the month cow, or 3RAR Beret, month of Anzac, Capiong, ex-paratroopers from Australia. All faithful.
Yeah.
Nicole, I never know how to respond to that. You know that it kills me to see people to go to that level. Yeah. Can we please get Nicole onto one of Lauren's earlier sessions?
I really want to.
It's very important to get the female perspective on things.
Sure, because, you know, look, I can help people with spousey questions, but I know nothing much about being a lady veteran or someone who's serving. It would be fantastic to get that perspective.
Yeah. I'm going to throw some fake news out. I have worked women out. Thumbs up if you believe me, team, or thumbs down if you think that's fake news. I'm full of shit. I have worked women out. 100%. Tell me in comments.
I don't even think women have worked women out, so you found the secret to the universe.
Geez, you could sell that book if you'd worked it out.
Yeah.
Nicole, what do we give you? Do we give you Nutsu cow? Do we give you prayers? Do we give you the officer's salute? Thank you very much for 79,000 viewers worth of funding that will help our channel to help others.
Yeah, exactly.
Love Lair, as I would say in the UK.
Yeah.
I might even play crumpet.
Robin does think you're full fake news.
Oh, I can see a lot of fake news there coming from bitter men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Carl thinks you're full of fake news.
I am the explorer in a boat not made for sailing. I have all the ambition, but not the tools, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've given the samurai warrior a blunt stick to fight with. You can call me Kendo.
Yeah.
No one believes in me. Carl reckons he does, but even then it's a 3. Look at all these trifectas. The lurkers, you're full of shit, Cass. Fiona reckons, hi lovely people. She didn't get a chance to hear my statement. I reckon that I've worked females out, women out.
Yeah. Bye, JP.
JP, single shot rings out. The sniper.
One of our sons somewhere, uber bad, got to go do his job.
Who else has a sniper in the backyard? Lauren does. That goes to show you how unique our channels are.
Exactly. I don't have garden gnomes. I have sniper.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I tell you what, the channels to watch at the moment, team, it has to be end of sentence, or 23-1. And they are two guys, previous prison individuals that basically tell you, explain to you what it's like to be in prison and why it's not cool to be bound by peer pressure. And if you sell your soul, if you drink from the chalice, what's waiting in store for you? And there is no such thing as easy time. Yep, they're great channels. You see people that have made mistakes that are a lot younger than you, they're going to pay for this for the rest of their life. And we've got a lot of prison guards on our channel too. Did you just know that?
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. Daz, can you throw a question to us, mate? The deepest question you can think of, please, Daz.
Daz is great. I want to go to Daz's house for a feed. He always said, I bet it would be delicious meat cooked over flames.
With the chance of food poisoning.
No, he looks like he's probably fit as a Mallee bull. I'll be fine.
Chicken fillets on an engine block. That's what I think about Daz's cook.
No, I'm sure it's not.
You cut. Never tried Ben K. What's Ben saying? Are you allowed to fart in front of recruit instructors? I would say that you're lacking discipline, but then ask you, how was that food? You know, look, we're expected to be at the highest level of representation of ourselves. Crying is not allowed. Okay, putting your hands in your pockets is not allowed. Folding your arms when you're cold is not allowed. Rolling your eyes is not allowed. You know, farting, okay, depends on what you're doing. You know, we'll still giggle and laugh like kids when we hear it. You know, regardless of age, I still laugh now. I try to get a tune out, try to drag out, eat foods to stimulate. But if you try to get attention, don't be surprised at reactions.
Yeah. I was on the telephone to you the other day, and I thought you'd started playing the bugle, if you remember.
The fact that I can still fart loud, okay, should be an indication to people, one, I'm not a sailor, and two, you know, those years of exercise have really paid off.
Keely is here. It's Darcy's mum.
Hey,
And apparently Darcy's loving it at Kapooka. He's turned his red tab blue.
yep.
And is loving every minute of it. He did write asking if I could send him a massage gun.
Yeah, you probably won't be allowed to have that. So in case you don't know, you know, Miss Keeley, that everything you send the guys and gals at Kapooka, that package will be opened normally in front of everyone. That's to make sure there's no contraband at all inside of that. And when you see it get opened the very first time, you realise, don't try it. You know, it's not going to get through. The other one is, so I said, Jake has DP question, how do NCOs get to commission? You normally don't, you normally won't. Okay, but if you do, it's normally means you've normally gone to sergeant or above. So we're talking around 12 years plus. And then from there, what will happen is you'll have to get references from other officers that say, would think that you'd be an asset if you came over to the dark side, they call it. Dun, 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 dun. And then from there, you would come across as a first-year captain, depending on what rank you came from. Yep. But even then, there's normally a ceiling rank. To NCOs that have crossed over. They don't really like people crossing over, you know, because then you find out the secrets. And they never know if you're a double agent. Yep. Yeah, it's up. And Miss Keeley, that's great to hear. Blue tabs, for those that don't know, when you go to Kapooka and you go through the door, okay, quivering lip, you know, everyone's tough as hell when we're on the bus after oath or affirmation. Get on there laughing until they do their last stop and have a Coke, you know, and maybe a pie. The first food that's going to come out of their first special, recruit training shit, you know. That pie is coming out in a Kapooka porcelain. There's no tough guys when they get back on that bus. You know, and then you turn up there and you'll do normally a week or a few days of pre-week, which is getting you all geared up, ready. There should be no one quitting in that first week. And then from there, you're rewarded with red tabs, which allows those that are getting around, not just soldiers, but also staff members, you know, what level to expect. You know, is that the sort of stuff up I'd expect from a soldier? No, red tabs, I get it. A bit of diplomatic immunity there. Come here, dickhead. What are you doing? You know, and then when you get the blue tabs, right, you get held more accountable, but you've also given more options to now, at times, for good behaviour, similar to jail, to go and get a Coca-Cola, to go and maybe even try out the 2-beer policy before we eventually graduate onto yellow tabs, and then we eventually take off the yellow tab and we get ready to march out. The yellow tab is also an indication to all those on blue and red that you're looking at someone who's looking down the barrel of going out on their final field activity, which will be a culminating activity that determines yes or no, Australian soldier, qualified, waiting for march out, and now families can turn up and say, holy shit, you know, you've grown up since I saw you last. And I believe now that you get to go to Canberra as well and go back to the War Memorial as part of your service at Kapooka basic training.
Yeah, and that's really important.
Very important. One of the most important things.
You've got to know what it's all about, folks.
You do.
You've got to understand the heart of it.
Yeah.
Diesel Duck Fan has said, hey Kaz, I'm going in as reserves. Will I get laughed at if I bring photos with me, i.e. photos of girlfriend, cadets, etc.?
Don't take photos, cadets, mate.
Yeah, take the girlfriend photo, sure.
Yeah, girlfriend, but not cadets sort of shit. You know, because people, that's like you're taking a picture of a kid. You know, when you're at Kapooka, you're there to grow up. You know, to make the metamorphosis from youth, young adult to servant of the nation. Okay, if you've got photos of someone that's a cadet, then you're implying it's someone who's extremely young. You know, and I don't know. It'd just feel weird seeing pictures of girls up, you know, girls, not women. Just have pictures of her in a civilian clothing, mate. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The model guy.
Yeah, photos of your dog, like Dave said.
It's great to have a picture of a dog.
Yeah.
It tells people about mateship. That model guy just said, Kaz, quick question. How come you're a good portion of Holsworthy barracks from the train perfect for spies? Mate, almost all of Holsworthy is gone, mate. You know, there's bugger all there. You know, you got the 2nd Commander Regiment. If you want to jump the fence and see what happens to you, go for that. Other than that, you've got the school of engineers there, some other support elements, but that's it, mate. You know, we have never really had an attack on military bases in Australia. There's almost nothing you can do, really, if something actually happens. They have codes for it and all that I won't go into, and reactions that can occur. But other than that, mate, we've had a few people come up to the gate. We've had a few people at Holsworthy that threatened to do something that they didn't do. There's not a big issue, mate. And you can have army open days anyway where everyone's allowed on the base, so it doesn't make any difference.
Oh, he's right. We're at the beach now.
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
Yep. That water.
Set up there. There's this little thing in the front, in the foreground. I'll just sit up there with my umbrella and my towel, and I'll make a little sandcastle.
You know what? Dave Penson would tell you this. Charlie, don't surf. What movie's that from, team? Charlie, Don't Surf. I reckon Dave would be one of the quickest ones with this.
I reckon they'd know.
Jay, you'd know.
Yeah.
Okay, the model guy says, my dad's mate is 2 Commando at Holsworthy. That's awesome. I got a lot of friends at 2 Commando. You know, some really good people. Really, really good. And if I had a choice of SASR in Perth or 2 Commando at Holsworthy, I'd pick 2 Commando. Yep.
Okay. You asked Az Fruity a question. You got one.
Ooh.
Okay. question, Kaz. The world has pyramids all over it. Supposedly, other planets, example Mars, has pyramids. What do you believe their purpose is?
Well, I think there might be things that are triangles on Mars. I don't know if they're actual pyramids.
Yeah.
You know, having been inside the tombs of Giza and been all around those, and I don't mean to big note myself, but also being an Egyptian citizen for a while, it's a good question.
Yeah.
Man, I think you can make some things sort of match. There's people that absolutely believe in aliens. There's people that absolutely don't. There's people that believe in flat Earth. There's people that absolutely don't. Coincidence is one of those things. There's pyramids all over the world in different cultures, and it's also because it's a strong structure.
Yeah, and I believe the Egyptians started with stepped pyramids before they did that one. So, you know, and we see them in South America. So it's interesting, but there is only so many things under the sun. There's only so many architectural things we can build. We're limited by physics, so it goes without saying that there would be limits to what people could come up with. But I'm not sure about the ones on like Mars and that being pyramids. It could just be pareidolia.
Well, that's a big word. I've never heard that before. That's like the ruins they find under the oceans, and then they actually go, look, they showed you the straight lines that you could convince someone that they're actually ruins, but then when you see them from another angle, you realise, no, okay, that's just a geological abnormality, you know?
Yeah, you know, well, pareidolia is just when you look at the clouds and you see something like it that looks like a face. It's not a face, and it's not there for any particular reason. It's the way our brains read it, because we're designed to look for familiar things.
I actually believe that our planet at different times has been as advanced as what we are now, but it wasn't in the same tree, so to speak, if you play Age of Empires. There is areas of architecture that we still can't explain now. You know, there is there's different what do you call it? There's different things and skill set trees that shouldn't have existed when they did, but were snuffed out because of one reason or another. So we never actually found the full story of what was going on there or what led them to create that 100 years of labour. Something was their inspiration. And then you got the Incas that even just walked away from theirs. And no one knew that. So, yeah, they've found ruins under the ocean before as well, where they look at it and go, dude, these guys were tip-top. You know, there was evidence of brain surgery and all that sort of shit, but they got destroyed by earthquakes.
Yeah. Okay, Nashi has said, hey, Kaz, all my mates are joining up, and I can't because I still have braces. Why can't I join with braces?
I don't know, because people get braces in the military. And almost everyone, oh, look, there's a beach invasion going on over there.
Well,
Almost everyone gets all of their wisdom teeth taken out, whether they like it or not, once they're in the military, so that they can't become a dental drama. Funny enough, you may not realise that dental is one of the biggest dramas they have in the military. Therefore, they get on top of it real fast. You know, real fast. And it can sound a little bit insulting to say to someone, man, your mouth looks like, pardon language, a fucking crocodile. You need to do something about that shit. Have you been brushing your teeth? And I'm not going to mention this kid's name, but on one of my operational trips, I actually had a soldier where I wrote a letter to his mother and said, I don't know what's going on with your son, but he seems to be allergic to brushing his teeth, and I'm not going to tolerate it for much more. Stop sending shit to him that's going to continue to destroy his mouth. You know, and she wrote back a letter saying, excellent, thank you very much. He gets no more what do you call it, not contraband, no more what do I call it in jail? You're getting no more of the commissary. There's no more commissary. And then she sent him nothing after that. Hey, we just got talking about danger mouth. You know, we've just got too much time in the sun there. The orange SOS stranded exit Once again, this is not a paid channel, team. Take it easy. Take it easy. He's thrown 20,000 viewers worth of coin shekels, onto the table to ask an important question. Can we please get you to read out that question with your more harmonic voice as the flowers that have just appeared on the screen, please?
Certainly. Hi, Kaz and team. Lurking live stream while I prep for my boy's birthday party. Have a great weekend, everyone. How old is he?
Yeah, how old is your young man, and can we please call him out if that's allowed?
Exactly. Happy birthday, SOS Junior.
As a matter of fact, SOS Junior, I asked this the other day, does anyone have any kids that they'd like to get a YouTuber to call out to make them feel important for a video? SOS, I'm going to do a video for your kid. SOS. I need a pen that works.
Uh-oh. Isn't that a ways away?
The pen is blue. SOS. What is your son's birthday and how old is he, mate? I'm going to do a video to make the little fella feel important.
Yeah, for sure. We want to. I'm beside at that house down there with the Union Jack and all the lovely gazebo with the flowers and the blue chairs. That's my house there.
Yeah, well, it ain't going to last long.
Well, it's lasting there for now, and that's my little boat out the front too.
I can't actually see any fighting happening there.
Freya will be 7 on 5th of May.
Freya?
Hey, the clubby man running through my garden. Get out of there.
It's not the first time you've had a soldier run through your garden, love.
And that's the truth.
Freya will be 7
Yep.
on the 5th of May.
Yep.
Okay, last question. SOS, do you mind if I make a couple of minute video just to say happy birthday, mate?
Yeah, because you're always there for donations.
And it's not just that, this is very young man, young girl. It's one thing to give them what they keep asking for, but to actually get, some attention on it and it's played on TV, they're going to be like, what the hell's going on there? Okay? It'd be a beautiful tribute.
Okay, we've got to go Skylight here. Skylight needs to go in the nearly invisible book.
What's happening?
Okay, Skylight H. Hi Lauren. Hi Kaz. Thanks for your streams and words of wisdom. I got my enlistment date last week and it's the 3rd of May. Wow, that's real close.
It doesn't get much closer than that.
No, having...
You're going to have food that you've got in your tummy right now coming out of your bum in Kapuka.
Come on now. Having some last meals of city life and excited for the time to come. That is so awesome. I am so excited.
What name again?
That is Skylight Peach.
Sky Peach.
H. H.
Well, Skylight, you're also going to be there with a mechanic, Jesse, and filming. Filming cunt?
Beg your pardon?
Can't.
Okay.
So you're not going to be alone. I'm sure there's a lot more, mate. What are you going to do this weekend other than shiver like a dog shitting? Yeah?
Oh my God.
Look, your house is about to cop it.
No, it's not.
Here it is.
No, get away from my house.
You've had a London black taxi just run into the wall.
God damn it, look at them.
This is what happened when the kids chuck a party while you're not at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Dave, can we get Dave D or Robbie Kent to ask Orstoy a serious question? Something that they might like to ask?
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, your house is getting zapped.
Yeah, it's still standing though. It's built sturdy.
Did you... Oh, no, you got a tank, buddy. Did you mean to throw in Elton John sort of lyrics there, still standing, etc.? Oh, look out. Someone's getting hit. Oh, hit in the ass. It was going to still be standing now.
I'll get that stick out of there.
We're off the reservation here, team. I'm having a ball.
We are.
Okay, so I applied for aviation support technician gap year, and I got deferred for 6 months. The interview said I had the motivation for a pilot. He said that the role was below me. What the hell are they talking about? The role is below you. What if you were the most smartest guy, driven, and wanted to go to infantry and be a machine gunner, and you ended up being the best machine gunner at a clutch time that actually got a Victoria Cross for saving the extraction of Dave D and his men at the time that only you could have done it. I can't stand dickheads speaking on behalf of someone else's motivation, inspiration, capability, loyalty. I find that disgusting to the rest of the army, that he's looking down on people's positions. And if I met that guy, it wouldn't be a very happy Anzac Day. I find that really disrespectful. I don't speak bad about other corps. I tell people, don't go to MPs, until you've done some service time. Don't go to artillery, unless you want broke back. I'm not saying mountain, I'm saying broke back. Yeah. And there's some weirdos there, and they can't even get rank straight. That's it. Diesel Duck has just thrown in 2,000 people's worth of shekels to say, do tabs exist in reserves? I don't know if it does. Dave D would be able to tell you that right now.
Yeah, I believe someone did answer his question. I think maybe he just didn't see it. Look, don't worry about my houseboats. That smoke coming out of it, that's just JP making toast.
Yeah, boiling water.
Yeah, exactly.
Healy, are you able to see who went in on the 29th of March? I certainly can. Dusty is in the green book for 5th of April, but was moved a week earlier to the 29th of March. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Ms. Keatley.
We certainly can have a look in the newly invisible book.
Look at it. Look at it. Sparkles like a diamond. That's what happens when you build with poor materials. Kelly able to 29th of March. Let's go back to 29th of March. So we've got Les Sculpts, we've got Dark March, we've got Joanna, I won't say her name, Miss Flagon. What else? Who else we got? Not many for the 28th of March. So, Les Sculpts, Dark March, and Joanna. I'm sure there is more. I'm sure there is. But, there's at least 4 of them there. I wonder if any have quit. People don't normally quit from our channel. They should never be quitting in the month of April, the month of the Anzac, or November, the month to remember, lest we forget. But this is let's go backwards a little bit here. Mm-hmm. We're now on the 30th of April. Now, 30th. Now, when we do the Lest We Forget for Anzac Day, for the baptism of fire for Australia and New Zealand, as they hit the shores of the peninsula of Gallipoli, at Anzac Cove, it's one thing to have been there that day, the chaos of the ships as they headed towards the beaches, and the Canadians and the English, etc., or the Turks, what was like for them. But the real shitty time would have been not on Anzac Day. It would have been the day after, the second day after, when the guns fell silent and people realised what the hell just happened. The captain of the cricket team from Moree, the best boxer in our battalion, was killed in the first 3 minutes. People's names attached to, they're not even really soldiers at that stage. The screaming on the battlefield. Seeing people that you knew, that you grew up with, coming past with injuries so catastrophic that Hollywood can't do them justice. It's the day after, the 2 days after, the 3 days, the 5 days. And then you get told just because that many people lost their lives doesn't mean we're not going to get told to do it again today. When you realise there's no escape, that you are bound to the servant of a nation, serve abroad so that it doesn't touch your home soil, That's when they realise it's real. You can't tap out. You know, when you're losing. You know, you can't quit while you're ahead, either. You know.
So I actually saw someone who needed to go in the book. I wonder if you have yet. Let me just try and find him again.
Nicole's over here too. Nicole, left-handed salute. That's illegal, but I'll try it to you. And thank you very much for your shekels and that menstrual cow.
Yeah, thanks for all your support.
And hopefully we're going to see you real soon on a Zoom meeting.
Be awesome.
Yeah.
Even.
Ace.
Yeah, it would be.
Good night, Nicole. Can we get some thumbs up to Nicole there? Please. Thumbs up or down. You know, down because you're sad she's leaving. Have a great weekend, love. Hope your coffee tastes great. And I hope your bread tastes fresh.
Yeah, it was David Cruikshank, but then he retracted his message. Put it back up, David. We'll put you in the book.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, here it is. Finally off onto computer on the 1st of June.
1st of June.
Yeah, David Cruikshank. That's like really soon.
It is. But it's long enough away that it sucks. Because that month will feel like it just goes tick-tock so slowly. David Cruikshank.
Yep, that's him.
There's a lot of Cruikshanks in the military.
Yes.
I spell it phonetically. It makes it easier.
Yeah, look, I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
Not at this point.
Fiona's still hanging on there. I see the 3 thumbs right there.
Yeah, Fiona's, she's waiting for her appeal to go through. Just stick with it, babe.
Did we get a...
No, they did. Sorry, some planes just came along and smashed my house. My garden's still looking all right.
17th of June, says Diesel Duck.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I was a diesel duck for so many years, sitting in the back of armoured vehicles, you know, sucking in the diesel when they were doing battle runs. We've only got you there for Diesel Duck. No, we've also got the Filming Cunt and Skylight. No, Filming Cunt is going on the 17th, sorry, and Skylight H is going on the 4th. So there's only 2 of you at the moment. Maybe I need to put out another video. Quick 6, another one to say. If you're joining, put your name in, you know, so we can get the book going again, you know, and revamp it with names. But make sure you do all change your name if you're going in. Hit the like button if you can at the moment, team. See if we can't get it over 2.
Yeah, please do. I got a couple of comments here that I wanted to address from that model guy.
You do it.
He said, I've got to say, Kaz, you seem like a top bloke. Some of these army guys you come across are so arrogant about the car service. And I think they are, you know, maybe you're mistaking proud with arrogant. And also, what are you saying to them? You know, because sometimes people say the dumbest things. And it's very, very hard when you've lived something to be patient with someone who has absolutely no knowledge about what they're talking about. Because one of your other comments of the model guy was implying that Australia has no capability to defend ourselves effectively.
Look, I'll address all those points really quickly. Quite often when soldiers are in one spot, we're in a closed group. We are a closed group.
Yeah.
And normally it's only open to chicks. We've got our friends' bases covered. Anzac Day is different. Don't need someone to say, hey, thanks for your service. The best way to thank a soldier for their service is to just ask them a story. Hey, can you tell us what this was like or what that was like? You've been overseas. Can you tell me about it? They'll talk to you all day. They'll buy you a beer. They'll be stoked. They'll love it. You know, as far as arrogance, that can be, depending on what you said.
Exactly.
Okay, it depends what the person before you said. It depends how old they are. You might be talking to young soldiers.
And
You
their
know?
personality too, but if you're going to go up to them and say, hey, you know, Australia can't even defend itself, that's kind of offensive to people who, you know, are very, very professional soldiers.
And that's true, and it's an incorrect statement. And I'll give you an explanation. When France went to war with Germany. They stopped everything in one day and mobilised their entire country. Your job failed to exist unless it was an essential service. You walked out of there and you're given a new role to do. Australia has 24 million, 25 million people now. We could muster a 1 million person army very, very quickly. Very quickly. We are girt by sea. You know, if Australian soils were threatened, and I've said this many times before, and a lot of people don't understand it, Australians are different. You know, I absolutely respect people that say, I would not put on a uniform and go to another country to scream in the night to help someone else, just like I wouldn't go next door if I heard a woman screaming in her house. I get it. I get it.
Yep.
But I would never tolerate anyone under any circumstance of not stepping up to put a uniform on if Australian soil was in danger. And I think you'd be very, very surprised at how big the outflow would be of true patriots, tradies, men, young men, boys, that would put the uniform on and absolutely show that you don't need to be red to be a sleeping dragon. And I believe Australia is a sleeping dragon. We have geography and terrain that, from a military perspective, if you said to me, take over Australia, you'd be going, what do you mean? There is nothing in Australia to come and take. You know, we're a country you'd more likely try to stay friends with and resettle here after it's all, the dust is settled. There is no ground to hold here. It's too big. It would take more than 1 million soldiers. And even then, what are you going to do? Take the cattle? Take our women? What are you going to do?
Because, I mean, yeah, it takes a long time to dig up uranium. It's not like it's just laying about all over the place.
Yeah, we could absolutely defend ourselves. We're not alone here, team. We're not alone. We're one of the most powerful nations on earth and one of the most sought after refuges of the 1%ers where they know you can go to and get a fair go. We are not a racist nation. We're a tolerant nation. We are not necessarily the land of the free, you know, to do and say what we want, but that's because of government. And I believe our government sucks. You know, I do. We don't have freedom of speech. But in saying that, I think there's a corporate common sense amongst the people of Australia that you're still going to cop one in the chops if you insult someone enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what we're seeing a little bit, which is dying, but is the respect for elders and the adherence to wisdom. You know, intelligence doesn't beat wisdom, team, and we talk about that too. And that's why some people, when you match immaturity with intelligence, sometimes they're very, very good at getting their message across, but the fundamentals of practicality are absolutely lacking once the pressure exists. How do I know? Because for years of my life, I was an instructor of, you know, officers in leadership and tactics, and saw the smartest of RMC come to the School of Infantry, then fold when a little bit of pressure was added to them. Yep.
You know, Kaz, my house just got smashed up by a lady driver.
That's what happens. That's what happens. You know, you got to be careful who you do your Airbnb, who you give to.
Yeah, then the neighbour's house went out. I don't think there's any fixing it with a busy bee now. Okay, Den After Next Tactics has said, what do you guys think about the recent $700 million defence budget increase in Northern Territory? Also, how do you guys feel about the Victoria trade deal being torn up with the corn chip?
I think, I'll go to the corn chip first. I believe that the gentleman, the Premier of Victoria, should be in jail. The fact that he represented himself and Australia and sided with the red corn chip, and how quickly he was basically scuttled, you know, by both sides of politics, should be an indication he should have been removed from that position. What he did was a traitor, I believe. You know, the fact that he went and made friends with the people we have the most tension with, is disgusting. And what is happening from the New Zealand leadership, I believe, is disgusting. So that guy, is, dead Indian to me. As for the money, technological advances and requires money. There is a cost that you cannot afford to pay, but guess what? You have to pay it. It's like looking after a DVA bill for soldiers. You don't have a choice. The bill must be met. If you send people overseas to represent our country, if the mission is worth it, the bill has to be worth it. If the bill is not worth it and the mission is not worth it, you don't send people.
Indeed.
And all Western countries are going through that at the moment. We can't afford to pay them. You go, then you shouldn't have goddamn sent them.
Exactly.
Tell their mums and dads that. Tell Jody that. And see how long it takes Matty to get out of his chair and come and rearrange the hands on your clock.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. There's been a lot of deals that have been done that should just never have been done.
That's absolutely right. I don't ask for any special treatment off anyone. And when I go in the military, I understand I don't have a political opinion that should be allowed to matter, and I'm silenced. But at the same time, I shouldn't also see my bosses, trying to be political when they're wearing an Australian uniform. To me, that is being a traitor to their chain of command and those below them, and it is the opposite of leadership.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right. Skylight H has said, what do you think of the remarks by Dutton about drums of war?
I think it's important it's said.
I think
There she goes again.
Yeah, I think she's the one who messed up my house. I think that it was important that he said it.
Yep. You eventually, that was his way of letting you know, one, there's a new sheriff in town, and two, he let the chief of the army, of the defence force know, I disagree with the bullshit you've been doing on your watch, and now the microphone, magnifying glass is on you, mate. And the next one was, he addressed the elephant in the room, rather than just rolled onto his back, and that message would have been loud and clear. And what it does is, I'll give you an example. If Daz was sitting at a table across from me, and Fiona was sitting over there and getting a hard time from someone, and someone started giving Fiona a hard time, Daz might look at me and say nothing. I might look at Daz and say nothing. Daz goes, hey buddy, that's enough. Then I might go, yeah, that's enough. If enough people say that's enough, then the toughest guy realises, I'm in over your head here. Now how do I get an off-ramp? So this was Australia's way of saying an amalgamated message. He wouldn't have been speaking on behalf of himself. He would have been speaking on behalf of Australia with a agreed upon statement that also come from Mr. Morrison, all the way from the top. He wasn't just off the reservation saying this shit because he can get held accountable for it. And he would have known when he said that now there's going to be a whole bunch of backspin that's going to come his way, from politics as well and from ambassadors, etc. He'd better have his story straight. And they did that, and it shows strength. And you know what? The Red Corn Chip only listens to strength.
We could say good night and happy birthday to Dave Penson's little boy. Is it Anthony? I'm sorry if I've got the name wrong. You did tell us, but happy birthday to your little man.
How old's Anthony?
I think he did tell us that too. I don't even know if it's Anthony. I'm just guessing. I think it was Anthony. I have terrible memories for names. So, happy birthday to him. And I hope you have a good time, Daddy.
Yeah. Well, time for my son's birthday party. Dave, before we go, mate, can you quickly tell us, how old is your young fella? Can we get some thumbs up for Dave Penson's son?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe Anthony. I can't quite remember.
Anthony. Smokey B. I'm sick of the bullshit going on in New Zealand. Our Prime Minister is bending over backwards for the Red Corn Chip. It's starting to create beef between New Zealand and Australia, and I stand with Australia, and you know what? We stand with New Zealand.
Yeah.
You know, but unfortunately, you have someone who's representing you. I don't know why a country would vote for a pregnant woman.
Yep.
You know, and her priorities should also not been to do this. You're like going, what are you doing? I wouldn't vote for just for that stupidity.
Yeah, to be honest with you, we're a bit sick of the BS going down there too.
Yep.
And I think we should make it 4 eyes, not 5. It is Anthony, and he is 2.
2, yeah. Anthony, 2 years old, 1 year off, starting to get a collective memory. You know, fantastic, mate. All I can say to people, the best thing I can say is never sit on another chair across from your children while you watch TV. Always sit beside them. Give them the chance that, and I had this conversation with Carl today, that they have that chance to lean on you, that affection, to put their arm on your leg, you know, and just passively take in the fact each other's protection. You know, it's such a beautiful thing, and then they will be affectionate when they get older. Because it is really sad when you meet people and they go, I'm not an affectionate person. And it was all because affection was missing from when they were growing.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to, you know, you got to be demonstrative with your love. You know, when we were young, our parents didn't really say, you know, especially our dads, they didn't really say, I love you. They didn't really hug us, things like that, because it wasn't done. But it's, you should do that now.
Yeah, I love all children, but not like Biden.
No, that's different.
Yeah.
That's I would probably go real crook at someone who was sniffing my kid's hair. Would not stand there and smile for a photo, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, there's some weird shit. Liam Smith said, I'm new to the term of the red corn chip. Can somebody define it to me? Starts with C, ends with Ina.
JP's answered him.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just have to be really careful what we say. Yes, there is an election here next week.
If you want to know, Tim, if you've never heard this saying before, if you want to know who's in charge of you, finish it for me, please, Lauren.
Oh, sorry, I was...
What's the statement? If you want to know who's truly in charge of you, what's evidence of that? I'll finish. I didn't mean to put in a position. It's who you can't talk about.
Yeah.
Whoever you cannot talk about, that tells you they've got power over you. If they can talk about you any way they want, but you can't talk over them, who's leading who?
Yeah.
This is some groups, and I don't mean to piss people off, but here's some groups that need to be told you need to settle down. Okay, and that's anything to do with the LGBT groups, anything to do with the feminist groups, anything to do with the liberal thinking, you know, who sometimes it sounds good on paper, thinkers, you know, and those countries like the red corn chip. You go, if I can't say anything about you, bro, you know, are you actually leading me? A decision's being made on my behalf by people in Australia, New Zealand, USA, etc., that are affiliated with the wrong team?
Yeah. Do you know what I heard this week?
What's that?
Crazy news. There was some whippersnapper who decided to come out and say that barbecues are racist.
How?
Well,
How come a fake tan isn't blackface?
Well, here's how come hair straightening isn't cultural appropriation? Okay, like I've got so many questions. But barbecues are racist apparently because slaves were once upon a time not able to get meat. So every time we're having a barbecue, we're somehow rejoicing in the fact that we got meat they didn't 200 years ago. Whatever.
I'm actually proud of them. You know, I'm so proud of how they can so consistently come up with everything brand new. Imagine the unhappiness of their life. The lady from Black Lives Matter, who's just now been found with four expensive houses in white neighbourhoods.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, this is really just testimony to how good their lives are and how good our society is. If that's your biggest problem.
Yeah. I believe you should be able to say absolutely anything you want. But just pick the crowd. And you know what? Here's another one. If I am with Dave, we'll say, for example, and I'm sitting with Dave.
Or with Dave.
Sorry?
Like with Dave or...
No, sitting beside Dave.
Okay, right.
And I'm sitting beside Dave. There should be absolutely no topic, no matter how unflavoursome, how bad, how out of context it is, even if it's funny, even if you're taking the shit out of a crippled person,
Yep.
who gives a shit? If you're not saying it through a microphone, you're not saying it through a TV, you're not saying it through something, if it is a closed conversation
Yep.
that you accidentally hear, you can't be offended by something that's even said about you if it's true and it's said by people that wasn't meant to be heard by you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, here's the thing. When we were young, right?
That's a long time ago.
It was some time ago. When we were young, people would just say what they wanted. And if you thought they were a dick, you just thought, oh, that person's a dick. You
Yeah.
didn't try and, police their speech. If you didn't like someone, you didn't have to like them.
I don't like the project, so I don't watch Channel 10. Simple.
Yeah, exactly. I watch very little, commercial.
I can't eat a polywaffle because it looks like it comes out of a butt.
Yeah, I actually really like polywaffles.
The picnic, when you bite in a half, looks like a London smile. You know? You know, what the beauty of being paramedics, police, soldiers, Navy, yeah, is the fact that unless you get hot mic'd, you know, we have a dark sense of humour and it's funny as hell.
Cass and I always worried we're going to hot mic ourselves, and then we actually
And then we did.
We did. We did.
Yep.
But it wasn't bad.
No, we weren't talking bad about anyone. You know.
No, except down the herd.
Well, yeah, isn't that a weird thing, that statement? Don't talk behind someone's back. You go, the world would be perpetual war if everyone just told you the truth to your face. Do I look fat in these jeans? Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
I actually thought the button was going to pop.
I think ladies just shouldn't ask and just fucking wear the jeans.
Well, you could go over to someone who's massively overweight and they just eat one grape and you go, hey, don't you think you've had enough? You go, get him at the very start of the meal. You've had enough.
Come on now. Good night, David Cruikshank. Thanks
You know?
for joining us tonight.
Good night, mate. We tell someone they've had enough to drink. Why can't you tell someone they've had enough to eat?
Because really, they should just be able to tell you to F off if they don't like it.
That's right. And I'll laugh and go, no worries, mate.
Fair enough.
And then I'll go, you want a bowl of chips? And I'll share them with you. You know, some of the best insults that I've ever heard were actually said about me. I don't get offended. I have a laugh and go, oh, that's not a bad one. And then I try to remember it and wait till I see someone else that wasn't part of that conversation. Then I use it on them.
Yeah, I'm the same. I have to laugh at myself. I'm quite a ditz. If I didn't laugh at myself, I'd cry all the time. JJ has just swung by to say good night.
I just saw it. JJ the Submariner, mate. I really, we were speaking earlier on, JJ, commiserations to the submariners from Indonesia that lost their lives to the ocean, mate. That's tragic, bro. Yeah, and that's probably a reality check for you who is about to be a submariner.
It's serious business.
Yep. It's too soon to say something happened in the shower that caused that. But,
That's way too soon.
yeah, nice goatee, Kaz. That's not a goatee, mate. That is a full-fledged beard. As a matter of fact, I've actually had a few Islamic people look at me and go, solid. Wise man right there.
He's a man.
If this gets longer, I'm going to move from coffee to tea because real men drink tea. Yeah. Geez, we're starting to speak shit. Now let's let everyone get out of here.
Yeah, I was thinking it might be time for us to go.
Sometimes Lauren and I forget that, you know, that you guys are all here and we just start to ramble on. You start to get drunk from conversation.
Because that's what we do when we're talking to each other normally.
Yeah. I get the bullshit plague.
Yeah, but I would absolutely love it if you did join me on my, first stream. That would be great.
Am I invited?
Yeah, please do.
I'd love that.
It'd be awesome.
Do you want to do a
Hi, Leo.
Do you want to do a rehearsal? Leo! Wanker stuntman for life.
We'll play around.
Now I just analyse your name, Leo.
Yeah.
If you need a stuntman for wanker,
Okay, on that note, thank you all members, thank you moderators,
Oh.
thank you everybody new, thank you for all your excellent questions tonight, thank you for all the fun, and thank you for coming to the restart of the stream. Thank you for putting up with the audio issues. We love you all, we hope it's all working out really well for you, and keep us updated on your journey.
and thank you for the open ears, okay, and the maturity of actually listening to people ramble and understand that we cannot offend you, only you can take offence.
Yeah, exactly.
So take it easy, go and have a great weekend. I'm going to have a great weekend. Teach has just become a member. For some reason, I'm not seeing it come up here. Fantastic, mate. Thank you very much. Teach you, teach me. I'm always learning too. Guys and gals, milk you cow. You're in the trenches. We're about to hit May. Now that we're in the month of May, I'm going to try and get a video out for you tomorrow or the next day. And I'm going to put one out for Mr. Freya, okay, who's 7 years old, 5th of May. And today, it's Anthony's birthday. He's 2 years old, second to none.
Yep, exactly. Hi, Fudley.
Fugly's here.
Yep.
SOS, thank you for everything you do, mate. And you know what? On Monday, hopefully we see some of you there on Lauren is Shining.
Yeah, that'd be great. And thanks for everybody who subscribed tonight. That is awesome. I'm excited about it.
Baptism by fire.
Yep.
May starts it all. Lauren is Shining 2.0. Point 1. See you later. With that explosion, let's get out of here. He's got rusty nuts.